Lindsey Matheson is making just her second appearance on TSN. Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg. This is her 12th appearance on the network. As it's the second week of women's five-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championship. Lindsey from Kitchener, Ontario, was in the pins game last year and won $50, losing the preliminary. So hopefully that experience will pay off for her. It's always a little nerve-wracking that first time on TV, I think.
Yeah, just that first frame or so, get kind of into a little bit more of a comfort level after you throw those first few balls. If you get real lucky, they're on the middle and they're strikes.
Yeah.
Okay, drives out the head pin. That's the penalty shot, if you will. You missed the middle on the first ball. Try to convert the spare and drive the head pin straight through. Okay, 12 the final count. A little bit more of an upright delivery that you see from Lindsey. Doesn't bend quite as much as the knee. Now Sandi Anderson.
Well, this resume is just filled with championships, both individual and team. Interestingly enough, though, in her 11 previous appearances, bowling championships and pins games, she's never won.
Just struggled at times getting through that first match. Okay, converts the spare. Nicely done on the chop off in the first frame. Again, you want to minimize your mistakes, capitalize when your opponent makes one. Well done on the second shot. Gets the great count on the first to 30 and sets the stage now for Lindsey Matheson by virtue of that strike in the second.
Oh boy.
Straight through on the head pin.
It is an ugly sound, yes, isn't it? I mean, it is. It's not pleasant. It's not pretty. It's just a flat-out thunk.
It's like the sound. I gotta imagine, like the trap door on the gallows when that lets go.
Yeah, I guess. And for the bowler.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. It's uh-oh
Yeah.
when it goes through there.
Yeah, especially when you've just seen. And again, Lindsey has to. It's all about the focus here for her, not to look over. That strike was just thrown up. There's a back-to-back opens for her. Well, Sandi Anderson is making her 12th appearance on TSN. Lindsey Matheson just her second. And it is the veteran Anderson with the early advantage as Lindsey's struggling.
In the first frame, she was off to the left side. Now in the third frame, she punches out just the 3-pin on her first shot. And in her second frame, the dreaded head pin on the first ball. So she's made some early mistakes here. Can't convert that pin, so 3 straight open frames will be the result. And the good part for her now is she gets to sit down. She doesn't have to continue to throw shots right now. She's got to sit back, gather herself a little bit, try to figure out what it is that she wants to really focus on the first shot next time.
Yeah, needs a break. So 3 opens to start for Lindsey Matheson. Sandi Anderson with a spare and a strike up as she plays in 3.
And really, really tighten the noose with strikes in 3 and 4 here. She had a chop off in the first frame, spared it, through the good ball, got the strike, and repeats it again.
We mentioned that, in fact, this is her 12th appearance. She appeared in 11 pins games, or 10 pins games, and won Canadian Bowling Championship. Never gotten by the quarterfinal. Never won those events. Opening games in particular. Of those 11 appearances, she's lost in the opening game 7 times.
Right, but her banner season back in 2003, when she was the runner-up on the championship series, came out with 351, 3 1/4, and lost the final match, picked up $5,000. So she's off to a great start right now. 3 in a row, really put the pressure on. Got a huge pinfall advantage to lead things off.
Did you, when you're competing, did you scout? I mean, do you think Lindsey saw this ahead of time and went, well, maybe I can take advantage? That's better for Lindsey. Here's somebody that struggles in their opening games.
No, not really, but you'd had the opportunity to say, I drew Sandi Anderson, and talk to some of your other competitors, and they'd have said, oh, she's a great bowler at Winnipeg. She's been at the Nationals a number of times and done this and done that.
That's a nice seed to plant.
Yeah.
Hold it.
So after a little hope, with the strike and 4 to get things going, pulls it off to the left, straight through that 3-pin hole, and now a much more difficult spare. Fit this, throw the great strike ball to get this to convert. And now another open frame, so.
Looking at her score sheet through the first 5, that's been her problem, isn't it? Pulling the ball to the left.
Yes. First, third, and now the 5th frames, all on this lane. It's gone way over to the left, and now the final result is 78 count. Sandi Anderson, by contrast, 75 through 2, with 2 strikes working. That's a little better, fits it on the side, manages to pick up both pins here, but really needs to get a run started now, because if Sandi Anderson doesn't break off this run of strikes, by a corner or something like that, she's just really in trouble.
Ooh, man.
Okay. She breaks it up in the worst way possible, the head pin. In all likelihood, an open frame here, unless the Hail Mary type shot. Get those pins to spin around. It's in the vicinity, but blows by. One more turn here. She can convert the 3-2 on the right-hand side. She'll have 144 through her first 5 frames.
Now, while Sandi, out of Winnipeg, has never won on television, she has won national championships. She's a 2-time singles champion, both in 90 and 91, and she's won 4 Canadian 5-pin team championships with the Manitoba team. All of them in the late 90s. Yeah, she's been doing it for a while. Plays at the Park Alleys and the Rosemere Lanes in Winnipeg.
Okay, first half of the game is in the bank, but there's 225 points left on the lane for Lindsey Matheson. She could mount a huge comeback. Sandi's not out of the woods yet. Wants to avoid the hit pins, make solid spares, get counts, make her way through the match. Lindsey has to start striking.
Now, back-to-back head pins for Sandi. Is it something that should trouble her? Or does she have to make an adjustment, or is that just by the fractions that happens?
It's not by much. I mean, if you were over 3/4 of an inch, it wouldn't be a head pin. It'd probably be a full strike or a corner. What she needs to do now is sit back and examine those last 2 first balls in the 5th and 6th and say, did I maybe speed up a little bit? Did I hit my spot exactly where I wanted? Because after 3 consecutive strikes, she knows she's close to throwing a great shot. There's the lift.
Now she gets a little bit of a break getting the right side.
Opportunity for the spare now. Can't make any more mistakes on the way out. If she's going to have any hope of coming back, mistake again. So where she had an opportunity to work her way back in the match, just squandered it and tossed it back to Sandi again. Okay, the 15 count brings her to 93 through 6 frames. She's down 63 pins. Only 4 frames to make it up.
There you go, that's a good start. Now when you talk about her being more upright in her delivery, is that why the ball out of her hand thunks the way it does?
Sounds a little louder on the lane, exactly. She gets it well out onto the lane. She's not lofting it by any means. It's just delivered a little farther out in the lane because of the upright position at her delivery.
That's matches with the strike for Sandi Anderson.
That's right. That's all she's got to do is just match up the rest of the way out and run Lindsey out of frames. So as she delivers her matching strike in the 7th, good lift on it into the right pocket. Pin goes horizontal, as you saw, the 3-pin into the corner pin. Makes for great action and great scoring if you get the pins going like that.
That's 3 head pins in 4 frames now.
And right now, probably in the back of her mind is, man, it's another first game match. I started off so good, and now, as you say, 3 out of 4 head pins.
Now it's tightened up a little bit here, and the advantage is still, the potential is still for Anderson to win.
Well, the thing is, if Lindsey can get up here and throw 3 more strikes, she's going to pick up 90 more pins in the 8th frame. That would bring her up to 183 as compared to 196. A couple frames ago, she was down 63 pins. 12 count. So here's where you got to take advantage of it. You've been given another chance. The governor called.
You don't want to hear the thunk of the trap door.
Should take advantage of it. Now pulls it way across again. That's another miss on the left side. Her 4th in just 8 frames. Just not quite on her game today.
That'll help. I mean, LeMay closes it up. She gets the spare in 8 to the 12 in the open frame from Anderson.
Here's the big part now. 9th frame. The foundation frame. She gets to set the tone here. If she can throw a strike, she'll close to within 40 pins. Looks like a decent shot.
Yes, it is. Just her 2nd strike.
Best she can score now, 243. Sandi Anderson right now, 193. Okay, gonna need a mark in here someplace. Should be doing the figuring, saying, all right, if I get a strike in here and do this. Bug out.
Oh boy, oh boy. And you know that she's doing the figuring. She is an accountant by trade for Venture Land Company.
So critical, she has not picked up 15 yet on one of her head pins.
Look at that, and look at the head pins where they've come. They've all come in the last 5 frames, 4 head pins.
Really needs the points here right now. This would give her a 208 score, would allow her to still bowl 253, which would shut out Lindsey Matheson. Well done. Lindsey has the strike working in 9. She's got the potential of bowling 243.
A little stumble here by Sandi, though, and those 10-pin difference potentially could disappear.
On the middle every frame so far.
That's better. And Jim is here, husband Jim. They actually met at the National Championships in 1991 when she won her second national singles title.
Needs this second strike to set up the opportunity to shut out Lindsey Matheson. Doesn't get it. So Lindsey Matheson has a spot yet.
Wow. Can you imagine this? I mean, I wouldn't have given Lindsey any hope.
Well, here's the difference. That pins game format, Sandi wins right off the get-go. 5 frames to nothing pretty much off the top. This game, that opportunity to come back. Final score then, 233.
Pardon me, yeah, 233. And as you say, it's a potential here to strike out for a 243 for Lindsey Matheson. Can you imagine this if Sandi Anderson once again should go out in a first game here on TV?
Need the first strike.
No.
Off the mark, and that spells the end. Sandi Anderson does manage to hold on.
Yeah, there's Dad. Brad Matheson is on the left. Chris White is Lindsey's husband. And yeah, you know that they've written down around. She doesn't have a chance.
And amazingly enough, 3, 4, 5 miscues on the middle. Missed the middle 5 times with the first ball and was still in it till the 10th frame.
She'll finish with her 15 for a 193. Lindsey Matheson from Kitchener, Ontario will take home the $250. But Sandi Anderson will move on as she bowls a sweated out 233.
So Ashley Miller on about a 250 pace. Shelley MacDonald around a 200 pace right now. 220. Strike working. Again, off the left side. That's 2 times in a row on that right-hand lane. Good roll on it. Good result.
Oh boy. Powerful bowler. Gets a lot of coaching from her father. Robert's here as well as her mom Kaylee and her boyfriend Trevor Hansen. We welcome them to Frank Sisson's Silver Dollar Bowl and Casino here in Calgary.
Tendency will be to speed up a little bit. Just try to pull back on that speed. Left side again, so another mistake. She's committed 4 now, missing the left corner back in 3. Misses the middle on 4, 6, and 7 now. You don't want to keep doing this against a competitor like Shelley MacDonald.
Back-to-back spares in 6 and 7 for Ashley Miller. Shelley MacDonald, whose parents owned a bowling center, and so we were wondering earlier maybe why she probably had free run of it. That'll help. And she puts in the 3rd straight mark on the board. 2 spares and a strike now in the 7th.
So suddenly with this strike, she's back to within 12 pins. Throws the good ball, knows this one just got out of her hand perfect, and gets the good result at the other end. All 5 pins in the pit. Strike working as compared with Ashley's spare.
Oh, come on.
Wow, tough break on that one.
I mean, that dance was spun.
Great shot. Places the ball just about perfect in the pocket.
Look at this.
And watch it move. Probably moved it 1.5 inches diagonally back.
Absolutely.
If she'd have moved that sideways, it would have fallen.
Used every bit of the lane. And now channels.
So squanders the opportunity. And now can cover the corner, count 15, and have 182 through 8 frames. So just as she'd made up the pinfall, she gives Ashley a chance to take it all back. She had closed to within 12. If she'd thrown the spare, she'd have had 169 through 7 and a spare working.
No.
Leaning left again. So the 18 count now, it's 169 to 167 through 7 frames. Ashley, a quick look at the scoreboard. Has not hit the middle in the last 3 attempts.
Now she mentioned that she tries to, and now punches the head pin through. Walk straight, stay down. Is she dropping a shoulder maybe too much?
I think the shoulder's falling off a little early. She may be getting to the line a little too quick and her arm's lagging behind a touch. 5 count here, and the match is all even with 2 frames to play. There's the value of picking the sticks. Each player with 90 pins remaining. Let's watch for the timing here. Try to have that arm come up. Get the ball out onto the lane, over her target.
Again. Boy.
Last strike was back in the 5th. She hasn't hit the middle since then. Couldn't convert the last time out. And the penalty shot, missing the middle and then popping the head pin, opens the frame again.
Obviously she's fighting herself a little bit right now. She gets everything.
Good picking.
Yeah, you bet. That's 4 opens, and in 3 of them she manages to get 50.
Shelley MacDonald can advance right here. Post a couple of marks up there. The best that Ashley Miller can do is 242.
That's 1 step.
This is a good shot again. She delivers the ball nice and low at the line, stays balanced, gets it to track over to the left side of the head pin for the good cover. Now, this is the big shot for Shelley MacDonald in the match.
No help.
Huge break.
For that right corner to go down.
Huge break. Gets an opportunity to spare and can cap it with a strike. It gives her a 242 if she should do that. Ashley Miller can still bowl 242 as well. So we're not done yet. Makes the spare. Anything but a strike. And Ashley Miller can still win. Shelley MacDonald throws a strike. Ashley Miller must strike out as well, and we'll go into OT.
Yeah, we'd be tied. Here we go.
There it is.
There we go. So, Ashley Miller, you know what you have to do, and that is strike out here in the 10th.
Well, she's been okay when she's got the ball onto the middle. She's got 3 out of 4 strikes when she's hit the middle. The other times in this match, she's missed.
So Shelley MacDonald bowls at 242. That's just a bit right around her average on TSN at 244. Needs 3 and won't get them.
Yep.
And so Shelley MacDonald, a former winner of the Pins game, former Pins game runner-up, will advance against Sandi Anderson. And we'll have 2 veteran bowlers going in our quarterfinal here on week 2.
There's the better shot that she was looking for earlier. Final strike will post a 227 game.
What do you think of her and her future in Ashley Miller?
Very, very bright. She throws a great ball. Just got to get it on the middle, a little more experience. We'll see more of her around in the future, I'm sure.
And that's the way to finish. You'll take that with you. And remember your experience, Ashley Miller bowls a 227 to a 242. Ashley Miller, we thank you. She'll take home $250. And Shelley MacDonald will now prepare and take the lane against Sandi Anderson. It's Charlottetown against Winnipeg. Women's 5-pin play here on TSN. Veterans of TV play here on TSN. Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg. This is her 12th appearance. While Shelley MacDonald of Charlottetown, she is a former champion, former runner-up in the Pins game. Shelley will bowl first by virtue of her 242 in her preliminary win over Ashley Miller of Red Deer. Anderson bowled at 233 and beating Lindsey, Matheson, and Kitchener. And that's a carbon copy because Shelley opened with a head pin in that first game.
Now, she was a little sloppy on the pinning last game, so let's see if she can get that squared away and get the good 15 count.
Yeah, she picked up 12.
Both of these players very capable of getting on a run, run 6 or 7 strikes off in a row. And I think in this kind of match with their experience, that if one starts to go, the other one's going to follow.
Well, that's tough luck.
Tough break on that one. Leaves the left corner, now needs to convert the spare. She had a problem with this one last game. Makes no mistake this time, though.
Opens with the spare, Sandi Anderson out of Winnipeg. She's an accountant for the Venture Land Company.
Both players had 5 strikes last game. Sandi with a split now. So first one of those we've seen for her. Opportunity to swing this 3-pin across if he can kick it off the back wall or something to make the spare, but now it's her job to clean the lane of all the pins and get the 15 count.
And she hangs it on the edge to get the 15.
Set this one up, look for it to be delivered right down at the foul line.
Oh, wow. Helicoptered the one over to catch the right side. Shelley MacDonald from Charlottetown, former Pins Game and Pins Game runner-up. Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg in her 12th appearance on TSN.
Oh, big
better.
break there. Yeah, this one covered right across the middle. You can hear her say, get off it, and manages to carry her second straight strike. This one goes down. It's a little full on it. Needs it to move just that fraction, and it does. And a great result for 2 strikes in a row. Okay, first mistake from Sandi Anderson. Needs to convert this. Keep the pinfall close. Look out. So now the best she can hope for, a 15 count, which will bring her total to 53 after 3 frames. Yet to score a strike. Had the left corner back in the first frame, then the split, and a miss on the middle.
That really hurts. So 50 through 3. Anderson, who, as we say, in her 12th appearance on TSN, her average TV appearance 204. She bowled a 233 in her win over Lindsey Matheson. There it is. Finally, she has her first strike and comes in the 4th.
Comes at a good time, just sends a message a little bit to Shelley MacDonald that I'm not finished yet. Good lift out on the lane. This one tracks over to the left side properly and gets the good result with the strike. Shelley now can really start to build up a little lead here. Sandi had opens in the 2nd and the 3rd. Okay, so a little mistake back. Minimizes the count to 35 back in the 2nd frame. And now forced to throw a good ball here to mark and keep the string alive.
Shelley's TSN average is 244. She bowled a 242 in the win over Ashley Miller. So a huge break for Sandi Anderson. Shelley MacDonald opening the 4th frame. Try to cover off the right 3-2, bring her pinfall through 4 frames to 90. And believe it or not, Sandi Anderson can go up and throw 2 strikes and have 95 through 4. Interestingly enough, both golfers, I'm just seeing that Shelley loves to golf, and in PEI, who doesn't? But both bowlers, their high games are 420.
And their high series, Shelley MacDonald with 1,034, Sandi Anderson with 1,004.
Yeah. So statistically very even. Nice bounce back for Shelley to come off the open with the strike.
Did what she needed to do. Sandi Anderson needs to throw one good ball here to get back into the match and can't come up with it. So she trails by 10 pins through 4 frames if she can convert the spare. Ooh. She fails to do that, so open frame here. Best she can hope for, 90 through the first 5 frames. Only 1 strike so far for Sandi Anderson as compared with Shelley MacDonald's 3.
Well, manages to get all the pins, scores her 15. And as you say, 90 through 5. But it's Shelley with advantage, strike up.
Sandi's far from out of the match, but she's got to get the ball on the middle again. She's missed in the third and the fifth. Had a strike in the fourth. Split in the second. Left corner in the first. Can't snag the right corner. Forced to try for the spare. Look out. And now could be in huge trouble.
When you look at Sandi's card, there's just no consistency in it, is there?
She struggled to get a smooth tempo or a comfortable pace, if you will.
Manages to get the 15.
She's just working for everything right now. Shelley MacDonald, on the other hand, has had a couple of bright spots, 2 and 3 when she threw the consecutive strikes. Now has one working in the fifth, and she gets to play 6 and 7, so could really, really make this pinfall jump out in her favor with a couple of strikes. Watch for the delivery down low. Good lift. Pulls it on this one. Second straight miss on the right-hand lane for her. And Sandi Anderson is just managing to stay alive here. Get by with a little help, my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends.
They always talk about the 5th Beatle. You must have been the 10th Beatle, weren't you?
That was the one that got squashed.
Yeah.
There's the spare. Well done there. Nice pinfall jump then when you compare the fifth frames. And an opportunity here now, if she can throw a strike, to jump that up another 30 pins to give her 150 through 6 frames. She's not going to do it.
You know, it's obviously turned away.
It almost looks like she pulled maybe a hamstring or something back there. She was kind of moving to her the back of her leg a little bit.
Watch that. Certainly doesn't look, facial expression doesn't look comfortable.
Okay, converts. Not capitalizing though on her opportunities so far. Sandi Anderson struggling through these first 6 frames, and yet is only down 35 pins. All you got to do is throw a couple of frames together. You got that back in a hurry.
There you go.
Now when these pins hit, when the ball gets in here, watch how the pin goes horizontal towards this right corner. Just huge margin for error when it's going through that way rather than vertically. That's when you know you got the good ball rolling.
Boy, what a great time for her to find her range. That's her first back-to-back.
Great time for the double, possible 180 through 7, 8, 9, and 10 for Sandi Anderson. Now, Shelley MacDonald needs at least to get a great count here. 25 or better. Strike, obviously, what she'd really like, but that's the miss. So now you only get the 20 count, 160 through 7 frames. The last 3 shots on that right-hand lane have been off to the left side.
You know what? I don't know if we'll have to ask her after if it's so much a hamstring or her lower back, because watch her as she delivers, and then sometimes her hand will go just to her lower back, but she manages to pick up the spare.
And it might be the kind of thing if she's just a little off balance, you get that little reminder.
Yeah. We always enjoy our visits to the championships. The gentleman on the far left, that's Arnie Rollins. He's from Dryden, Ontario. He's the president of the bowling proprietors, and we thank them as always.
Struggles on the first shot off the middle. Sandi Anderson just sitting back watching this unfold. No strikes for Shelley MacDonald since the 5th frame.
Oh boy.
Wow. Little lucky there.
Yeah, that was a drop from the bowling gods. That just fell down like lightning.
So the penultimate frame for Sandi Anderson, working on 2 strikes.
You mean the next to last?
That's the one. Look out. She's there. 45 count.
Yeah, great. Just great. Murray Walker, the famous Formula One commentator, now retired, used to always say penultimate.
And here we go. That's the big shot. 3 in a row, the 45 count. Pinfall difference is 160 through 7 frames for Shelley MacDonald, 150 for Sandi Anderson. Strikes working, though, for Anderson in 8 and 9. Miscue on the first shot in 10, but a chance to spare.
You almost knew that was happening because she didn't get it down the lane. It fell out of her hand.
Yeah, just trying for it a little too hard, that knockout punch. So she's up by 5 pins through 8 frames. Look out.
That might just hurt her.
The open 10th frame now. The best she can score, 225. Got to pick up these pins. Force Shelley MacDonald to do something in the 10th.
And she does. The 15 count for a 225.
So Shelley MacDonald has 180 and a spare working.
But look at, as you say, the last strike for Shelley is in 5. She hasn't been around the head pin, but every time 6, 7, 8, 9, keeping herself alive with the spare.
Exactly. But those 5 counts have hurt her. If she only gets a 5 count here.
Gotta be close.
There it is. It's an 18 count. So now she's got 198 as compared with Sandi Anderson's 210. Sandi picks up the 15 pins. She needs to score the spare here or we're all done. And it is not an easy spare.
Former Pins Game champion, Pins Game runner-up. Needs the spare. She got it. Oh, it didn't come off the back wall.
And the mistake was just too costly. Couldn't recover from it and get the spare. Sandi Anderson sitting with 225. The best Shelley MacDonald now with a 15 count, 213.
And that's what she'll finish with as she gets the 15 in a battle of TSN bowling veterans in Anderson MacDonald. And this one goes to Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg as she bowls the 225. Shelley MacDonald will take $1,000 home to Charlottetown here on TSN.